Hello internet family, Dan here from danstube.tv, and today we're discussing the gesture controls that are built into the DJI Spark. Are they worthwhile and how do they work? I have used the Spark now for many hours, and I played around with this gesture mode quite thoroughly. Now, I'm impressed with some things, but then on the same vein, I'm not happy with the overall functionality sometimes. Now, it is a little bit of a gimmick in my opinion. It is also a little bit fiddly in my opinion. Sometimes it does work really well, and sometimes it just doesn't work at all, and that's frustrating and kind of useless. So the function of it is to use your hands to control, but if it's not going to recognize your hands, then you're wasting time, and these things don't have the longest battery. Overall though, one of the gesture features that I think is invaluable on the Spark is the palm launch. Now, seeing as the Spark itself does struggle to land, it has a very small surface area to land on, and it does awkwardly land sometimes on a rock or on some sort of long grass, so the fact that you can palm launch and palm land, I think that's really important for the Spark. Now, this actually works really well. So once the intelligent battery is turned on, you just hold it out arm's length away from your face, double tap the button on the back, the battery button, and it will recognize your face, and then it will take off from your hand. This works really well, and I had no issues with this. This actually pretty much worked every single time. Now, the feature that I was most excited about for some reason, but didn't really offer any sort of functionality and didn't work every single time. I probably got a 6 out of 10 in terms of success rate, so 6 times out of 10 times it would work. The other 4 times it just wouldn't recognize. So it's the palm control. Now what you do is you put your hand out like you're using the force, and you have your fingers close together, you make sure that you're a distance away so the drone can see your face and your hand, and then when the LEDs on the front both go green, then you can control the drone, and you do that by moving your hand forward and back or left and right, and you can actually move the drone around you to set it up for a nicer kind of angle or position if you're taking a selfie or if you have recorded prior to using the gesture mode. Now that's one thing that annoys me. You can't actually record with any sort of gesture. You basically have to start recording and then go into gesture mode, which for me, I feel like they missed something there. There should have been a gesture to start recording. I will also go through the other modes, but I just thought I would touch on the palm land. So this is basically where you hold your palm out underneath the drone, it recognizes your face, recognizes that your hand is below it, and then it actually lands on your hand. This is very important, I feel. There's not much clearance on the camera, and there isn't the greatest surface area to land on, so palm landing is very important unless you have a perfect surface like concrete or some sort of bench or something that's just solid metal, something that doesn't have grooves and whatnot everywhere, because this thing is kind of dodgy to land in kind of heavy terrain situations with rocks and whatnot, so just be mindful of that. Palm land is very handy. The advanced gesture controls that you can enable in the visual navigation settings are actually really cool. There are a lot of different follow modes that work very well. So we have the away and follow, so you basically wave at the drone, and the aircraft will fly backward and upward, and then it will follow you. So that worked really well. Sometimes it wouldn't recognize the waving, but overall it was relatively decent. You then have the confirm follow, so once it's identified the person that it's trying to track, you kind of have your arms up in a Y, and it will confirm the follow. You then also have the selfie mode, so you put your fingers in some sort of selfie functionality like it's a box, and it will take a picture of you, which again works relatively well, not all the time. I noticed that sometimes when I was wearing a hat, for example, it wouldn't recognize my face very well, or when the sun was like directly on me, it was kind of dodgy as well, it wouldn't pick it up. So if it's like an overcast day, or if the sun's not directly on you and you take your hat off, don't have sunglasses on, the gesture control does work really well. You just need to kind of make sure you've got everything set up properly. If the Spark has flown a little too far away from you, then you can use the beckon mode, and that's basically putting your arms in a Y shape for 2 seconds. It will recognize that the lights will go green, and then the aircraft will descend to around 1.5 meters and fly to the front of you, so around 1.2 meters away from you, but obstacle avoidance will be turned on here. This is a really good complementing feature or function to then add on to the palm land. So after it's close enough, then you walk up to it and it will land on your palm with the gesture that you do, where you put your hand under the actual Spark. Works really well, and this all works nicely as a package, as a gesture package, but they don't have the record functionality. I don't understand that. Why is there no gesture to start recording mid-air? Anyway, maybe they'll add that in a software update. But overall, this gesture functionality, this advanced gesture control, it's a lot of fun. Like I mentioned, the palm landing and palm launching, they're probably the only ones you're really going to want to use. Everything else is just kind of something that you would use to impress people, or if you don't have the controller for some reason, or your phone's out of charge, then you can just chuck it up in gesture mode and basically get some nice pictures from there, or if your phone does have a charge, then start recording before you take off. Anyway guys, that's my little video on the advanced gesture controls. They are pretty cool, there's a lot of functionality there, but maybe we'll see some more functionality in the future and something a little bit more useful and maybe a little bit more polished off and something that will work 100% of the time. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, make sure to have a splendid day and peace out.